record. So yeah, so he said, Norm Farrar introduced us to Afolabi, and Norm Farrar, he said, you have to talk to Afolabi. This guy is incredible. And the thing about Norm is that he's been doing this for decades. He's been in e-commerce for a long time. There are a lot of really big time sellers that seek Norm's advice. And so when he said you have to talk to Afolabi, he's doing things with sourcing and with logistics that I have never seen in my life. He actually went into business with Afolabi, and they now have their own company specifically to service Amazon sellers, because what has been revealed to us is that a lot of Amazon sellers are have been taught these really, really bad habits in terms of the logistics side of their business. And there's a lot of training all around the topics of how to launch, how to rank, how to select products, how to get better conversion, increase your traffic. But the things that are missing are the first part of your business, the actual, when you actually purchase your products. You can make a lot of money, but you're actually leaving a lot of money on the table, and you're losing a lot of money simply because you're overpaying when you buy. And that's one of the things that Afolabi says. He says you have to make money when you buy, not just when you sell, which is became hugely important for us. And he's actually going through our entire business and going to be helping us to restructure our entire supply chain and take a look at at things for us and get our business profitability greatly increased. I'm about to bring him up. Oh, Alhain says, hey, that's me. Yes, awesome. Hi, Alhain. So I'm about to bring him up, but one last thing that I did want to say is a lot of sellers aren't really thinking in terms of selling their business down the road. But if you get your not only are you if you increase your or lower your cost of goods to increase your profit margin over time, that makes your financials look better, and your business is actually a lot more sellable. You can create a lot more sellable assets. So not only are you improving the value of your company and you're putting more money in your pocket on a regular basis, but you're also increasing the value of your company in terms of valuation. So that could mean another tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars more that you get when you end up selling your business. So doing that as soon as possible means that 2-3 years down the road, they're going to actually look at the past couple years. So it's a really good idea that if you ever intend on selling to get this side of your business really fine-tuned right now, because you're going to want several years of just amazing profit in your business. All right, that's all I have to say. I want to bring Afolabi up. Go ahead and let's see if we can unmute you, Afolabi. All right, hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Nice to see you again.
Yes, you too.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Great. Thank you, Chelsea.
Of course.
I'm always happy to be here. I'm, pumped and so excited to always come here. And today we're going to do something a little differently. We're going to leave more time for questions and answers. So I'm just going to run through these 5 major mistakes. I know there are more, and it's better for you to go to the past series we had already so that you can learn a little bit of what we've been saying for the past few months. But I just want to highlight these 5 major ones. And let me share my screen so that we can get started on this. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, awesome. Right, so one thing Chelsea was talking about today, so when I deal with a lot of Amazon sellers, I deal with a lot of brands, and one of the major things brands rarely look into is their cost of goods. And we're going to be talking about that now. Do you know that if you can fix your cost of goods, you could actually make way more money when you sell your company? It's a major difference. Let's do a little math. So let's say you're doing let's say your business is doing $500,000 in sales every year, and your profit is $75,000, right? And what if you save 10% on your sourcing, on your cost of goods? Let's say you reduce your cost of goods by 10%. That means your profit just went up by 50,000. Now, if they're using a multiplier to buy your company, let's say they're doing a 3x of your profit as your multiplier. Before you, reduce your cost of goods, your company is probably worth 200,000. By the time you reduce your cost of goods and you gain 50,000 more in profit, guess what? The value of your company just went up $150,000. So sourcing is a major thing. Cost of goods is a major thing. So we want to leave enough room to do question and answer today, please. So we encourage a lot of questions. Even if your question is just relating to sourcing and it's not relating to any of these 5 mistakes, I'll be happy to answer these questions. Okay. All right. Let's start.
I was kind of curious if any of them would want to type in the chat if they ever plan to sell their business in the future. I thought that would be an interesting thing to know.
Yep. Yeah. Can people type in the chat if your goal is to eventually sell your business in the future? Maybe 5 years down the line, you plan to sell, this business and exit, or maybe you're a serial entrepreneur. You want to exit this one, cash out, and go get another one. Okay, I see a lot of chats. Yep, good. Especially some people, you just can't sit still. There's some folks, you get bored easily. You want to do something, sell it, move on to the next one, build it, sell it, move on to the next one, build it, sell it. If that's probably going to be your strategy in the future, sourcing is a major thing. You know why? When people want to buy other Amazon businesses, sometimes I get involved in the what do you call that? Not the negotiations that they're doing, like they're vetting the business. One of the questions I get asked is there a way we can save money on the cost of goods? And I look at some businesses, due diligence, thank you, when they're doing the due diligence, and they ask me, the buyer asks, is there a way we can save money on these company? And I look at the storage fees, I look at the warehousing, I look at the cost of goods, and I'm like, yeah, I can see another 10% from this price. This person is buying this product, and they say, okay, right, okay, good. That means it's well worth it for them to buy your company. The only problem is they won't tell you.
Exactly.
They will not tell you they spoke to me.
They're going to save that $50,000 a year, and it's that much more valuable to them. But if you didn't find it, like if you're going to sell your company and you don't go to Lobby and get, that audit done on your business and show the new pricing, and you can say, look, here's an extra $50,000 a year that you can make because of what I've done. You make that money times 3, as opposed to them making that money, and they're basically getting your business for a steal because they've repriced everything.
Exactly.
So that's a really important thing to remember.
Exactly. And it happened like for 2 brands like that. The owner acquired it. We resourced all the products, saved. That was a product, from a brand that was purchased. They were buying the product for like $5.10. By the time I resourced the product, it was about $4.50. So they picked up 60 cents right there. So the moment they paid for that business, the business already paid for itself, just with sourcing, just with getting a lower cost of goods. So we're going to go through that real quick so that we can have time to do question and answer. Okay. So people already know me, but in case you don't know me, I just love finding things. I love haggling and negotiating prices. I grew up in West Africa, Nigeria. I'm always, going to the market with my mom. We always beat the price down and beat it down until they almost throw stones at us or whatever. And then I co-founded On Worldwide with Norman, who is super genius in marketing and promotion, and super good. I've helped launch several million dollar brands, and I still do that till today to help brands increase their value just by reducing their cost of goods. I've helped inventors develop a lot of products. I still do. We ship and bring in tons and tons of products, so we're able to save on shipping because we buy a lot in bulk. And I've made a lot of mistakes. I don't know who hasn't, but I learned in a hard way. So all these are the things I'm putting into all these webinars that we're doing, so that Chelsea can help us make our businesses better. And some of our products on Onu's website, if you want to check it out later, product sourcing and repricing, the tariff body. We did a series on tariff, helping you find a better HTS code to save thousands. And we have a lot of people. I know this guy I think he's come back like 5 or 6 times for tariff because he's saving a lot of money. Warehousing, fulfillment, freight cost negotiations, savings finder, soft price checker, all these things you can check out. You can read more about them on our website, okay? All right, let's get into these so that we can have enough time for question and answer. The top 5 sourcing mistakes that are costing you thousands. Number 1, only buy from real factories. Only buy from real factories. Well, you can use if you're using a sourcing agent, it's okay, but just make sure they transfer the savings to you, okay? Because sourcing agents do get good prices if they know how to negotiate, but most of these companies don't transfer the savings to you. So most of the sellers you see on sourcing websites are not real factories. In fact, most real factories in China don't have English-speaking staff. Most companies posting as suppliers on sourcing websites are just brokers, middlemen, and trading companies. And this is why prices on these sites are severely marked up, sometimes by up to 30%. I've seen actually higher prices than that before from sourcing websites. It's not about the sourcing website. The sourcing websites are good. It's beautiful. They're really nice. It's just the companies or the people posing as suppliers that we have to deal with. So you take time to peel the layers until you finally get to the real factory, so that you can save a lot of money when you buy, okay? So people often ask me, how can I tell if I'm dealing with a real factory or not? This is a major question that people talk about. So the first thing is factory audit and visit. So you can have an inspection company go visit the factory to see what it looks like, whether it's a one-man show or it's a real factory. Number 2 is number of employees the factory has. Sometimes Alibaba has that, companies like Alibaba has that. I don't know how much it's correct, because some of these fake, sellers, they do put stuff in there, or they could borrow photos from their friends. But I think Alibaba has another service that it's a verified factory visit. There are some factories that have been visited, so make sure that they actually visited these factories and took photos. Photos and videos of factory displayed on the building. So most of the buildings in China would actually have the factory name, maybe written in Chinese, displayed on the building, not photoshopped, but really displayed on the building. And some of these real good factories, they have videos of their operation. They have videos of their workers actually working, and engines moving, and products being shipped in and out, the storage facility. All those things matter if you want to know that you're actually dealing with the real factory. All right, The number 4 one is very important, consistency in product offering. So a lot of factories, if you're going through a sourcing website and you find that the supplier is selling cell phone case and is also selling school supplies, and it's also selling watches, and it's also selling water bottles, and it's also selling, baby bottles, and so many things that are not related, you better know that it's not a real factory. Most factories in China, they specialize in one thing. One thing they have the machinery to do. It could be different products, but they have a machinery to do just, a specialized, kind of product. So once you see a supplier, go to a supplier profile on the sourcing website and check out all the other product he has. If he has completely all over product, it's not a supplier. It's just a middleman. All right. The next one is production capacity. So I do get this a lot. Just recently, a great client of ours was asking me, oh, my supplier just doubled the lead time from 30 days to 60 days. I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, have you always been doing this product for 30 days? He says, yeah, it always took him 30 days. And now he's saying it's 60 days. I said, well, the only thing I can guess is going on is the production capacity has been maxed out. So if you want to make products that you'll be doing 10,000 pieces or 20,000 pieces in order, do not go to a factory that has a production capacity of 5,000. You're setting yourself up for serious problem in the future. Go to a larger factory that can actually handle the production capacity. Or you can start with a small factory, but you must have a backup. As you're growing, just make sure you find another factory that has a bigger capacity, okay? Transaction amount per year. Most factories have huge transaction amount every year, maybe at least $2 to $3 million a year. An average factory in China would have that. Number of years in business, well, I would say roughly 3 to 10 years is ideal. I would want to stick with at least 5 years in business so that you know that this factory is well established in what they're doing, okay? All right. If you have questions about this, please, save the question or type it in the chat. When we get to it, we'll have more time for question and answer, okay? All right, number 2, always put your detailed product specs in your performer invoice. All right, your performer invoice is a very powerful and legal document. Use it to spell out all the terms and conditions and product specifications and lead time and mold ownership. In short, every instruction and standard you want your supplier to conform to. So some people, you paid for a mold for your product. Let's say you're selling a cell phone case and you have a special design and you paid for the mold. You've got to have it in your performer invoice and some sort of contract with your supplier that you own that mold and they cannot do anything with it. They cannot sell it. They cannot make a version of it for another customer. But your performer invoice, you have this. There's another detail of basic items performer invoice. Number 1 is the quantity you're ordering. Number 2 is if you're negotiating extra quantity, you should put it there, okay? Let's say some cases I have 1%, 2% extra quantity just in case of defect. You might want to negotiate extra quantities. Just put it into your performer invoice or check it to make sure that the performer invoice has all that. All the inserts, if you're putting inserts in your product and what part of your product the insert goes into. You can even send photos or videos of how you want your packaging done and just put a photo inside the invoice if you want to. And then barcodes, wherever you want the barcodes to be placed, the size of the barcode, what part of the product you want the barcode, you should put it there as well. carton box inscription. However you want your box to be, whatever you want written on your box, you should put it there. Inspection ready date. So if you're doing inspection, you have to, let the supplier know. You and supplier have to make up, tell them that you want, you're going to send your inspection company to go and do inspection on X, on whatever date it is. You can put it in your performer. Product ready date, so that, if it's going to take 30 days and all of a sudden during production, the supplier says, oh my God, it's not going to take 45 days. It's a no-no. They should compensate you for that if something like that should happen, because you already have a signed performer invoice that says you will be ready in 30 days. So it should, in case it moves more than 30 days, there should be some sort of compensation for that. Product specification should be there, the dimension of your product, the weight of your product, everything you want your product to have exactly how you want it done, packaged, shrink wrapped, whatever it is you want to take care of, please put it in your pro forma invoice. It's very, very important, because if you don't do it, you don't have any case. In case something happens, you wouldn't be able to tell the supplier, what I said you should do this, we agreed on this. The supplier will be like, I don't know what you're talking about because I didn't sign any invoice like that with you. Okay, all right. Let's go to the next one. Number 3, make your supplier sign Ncnd before showing him your product ideas. Do this for your sourcing agent as well, especially when you're using a sourcing agent. Many sourcing agents are notorious for, wanting to, if they see a product is a hit, your product is doing very well, they could peddle it and try to create the same product for as many people as possible. So make them sign Ncnd, make them sign all these documents before you show them anything. How do you prevent your supplier from selling your product idea to your competitors or competing with you? Simply make him sign a legally binding Chinese Ncnd before you reveal your ideas to him. If you have a mold, if you have a special design, if you have something, because you're going to spend money on developing this product. Can you imagine after you spend $5,000, $10,000 to make the mold and create a really nice product, your supplier knocks it off and he started making it for other people, or your competitor knocks on the door of your supplier and says, hey, I saw that you have this product. Nice, this is good. And also in your Ncnd and whatever agreement you're going to have with your supplier, tell them never to put it on the sourcing website. Do not let them put your product photo on your sourcing website. This has happened many times, and I've been able to take down a lot of products from sourcing websites, a lot of product photos. One day, this is a funny story, I was in China. I think I went to Canton Fair, and I was passing by and I saw one of my client's products. And I don't recognize this supplier. So I went to her, I said, wait a minute. I said, did you make this product? She said, yes. I said, who did you make it for? She said, the customer. I said, well, the only customer you should be making it for is me. And I'm here and I don't know you. And I said, well, and she started, stuttering and she told me, well, a buyer came and gave it to us, to make for him. I said, that's my product. That is my product. That's my client's product. You cannot make it. You cannot show it in Canton Fair. You cannot, show it in front of everybody so that you can collect orders. Don't do it. Another person came to me about 2-3 months ago, and he saw his product on a person. He actually saw his video. So this supplier had extracted his video from Amazon's page and from his website and put it on Alibaba. And I told him, well, Alibaba is so good, just file a complaint and they'll take it out for you. And he did exactly the same thing. And Alibaba took it down within 24 hours. So if you see a product on any sourcing website, I really enjoy working with Alibaba. So you just tell them, file a complaint and say somebody is violating your product photo or video. They will take it down real fast for you. So that always works. So sign your Ncnd, make sure your supplier has an Ncnd signed before you reveal anything to them, okay? All right, number 4, request a production sample before shipping your goods. So I've heard stories and I've seen a lot in my 20 years of sourcing. Some suppliers will make really beautiful sample for you, and then you approve the sample to make the production, and then by the time you receive the product, it's nowhere like the samples. It's completely different material. It's a cheaper material. They're cutting corners and stuff like that. To avoid that, as they're making production, tell them to pick one out of the production and send it to you. That's the production sample, and you will catch it real fast. It's money well spent, and it's just going to cost you the shipping cost to send that sample to yourself by DHL or whatever, or FedEx. But it's money well spent. Please make sure you get production sample. If you don't, you can also get inspection. Once you have your inspection done, you should be able to catch all these, okay? So yeah, someone is saying it happened to them. Yep, I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of that. All right, number 5 is the funniest one. Okay, don't expect an A-class product from a C-class supplier. I put in a nice photo so you can see exactly what I mean. So a lot of, I see a lot of brands say, well, you know, help me get samples. So we get samples from 5 different suppliers, and they find out that a supplier that's probably the cheapest supplier made them a sample, but the stitching isn't very well done. Some of the product is not so good. The color is a little bit off. And they say, well, we still like this supplier because it's cheap. Can you tell them that they should fix this when they, when they're doing mass production of our product? Never, don't do it. If a supplier sent you a sample, that is the best they can do. If that sample is crappy, I guarantee you they are crappy product making supplier.
This is so true. I love this. I said that. I remember getting a crappy product. They sent a bunch of samples of different products, very crappy. And I was like, this is bad. This is the best they can do. This is like, they're sending samples. The samples is their best foot forward. So you know that whatever they sent you, they're going to send you something that's even worse because they're trying to make a good impression. They're trying to get you to buy. So they're sending you the best that they can do.
Yeah, I was, Chelsea, about 5 years ago, we were sourcing some, I think it was some electronic products or something. So we got some samples from different suppliers, and one of the suppliers, the product didn't even turn on.
Oh, you see, that was the problem that my brother had. Like the previous thing where you say you have to get a sample of the product that they made after they produce it before they ship it. That was the exact problem that they had. Starting out, they didn't end up sticking with the Amazon business, but they had an electronics product and it worked really well. And then when they got it, half of them were the wiring was short circuited and didn't work. And they had to, in order to just sell through those, they had to have my sister-in-law's dad had to do all the soldering of all the products. Factory worker, and it was just like it's bad news. So those are some great tips because they could also send you send you some other person's product as a sample and then not be able to produce that because they're trying to cut down the cost.
Mm-hmm. But the first time you get any sample from them, don't try to convince yourself that they're going to improve on their quality. They will not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They will not. They can't do better. Don't worry, they're geared towards making product for the local market or making product for the underdeveloped countries, because developing countries or underdeveloped third world countries, they like cheapy stuff, crappy products. They don't mind, they just care about the pricing. But any product coming here to the US or to Europe, please, 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 once your supplier sends you a sample and it's crappy, don't even bother. Spend the extra money to get a really good supplier. I have a client, he sells video game accessories. And so we wanted to build this really nice product. And I told him, I said, look, what you want to build, I'll give you two options. Do you want the best or you want a so-so? I said, if you want the best, I'll buy my wires from a Taiwanese company, because I know that Taiwanese companies are very good with electronics. They're good with electronic components. They're good with wires. They're good with connectors. I would rather buy this connector separately and ship it from Taiwan to China for you so that we can make a really good product. If this is the most important part of your product, I would not want to have it made in places, that I know they're not so good. If you want to make furniture, you go to Fuzhou in China to make furniture, because Fuzhou is a furniture city. That's where you get the best furniture makers. They are from that part of the country. Okay, so different clusters are there in China. It's almost like different parts of China are so good with different things. So if your supplier sends you stuff and the sample isn't good, run as fast as you can. You can never make him better. All right. So there are many grades of suppliers in China. If you receive a crappy looking sample from a supplier, there's a good chance such a supplier is suited for making lower quality products. Always go for a supplier that shows consistency in quality craftsmanship. I have this other client recently. It's another true story. And this client, and he wanted to make some, children's product. And I said, well, did you think about these and think about these? She said, no, I just want the best price. I want to compete on Amazon. I said, you're going about it the wrong way. Most people that I know that are successful on Amazon, they sell really good quality product. I say, you're going to get a ton of one-star review, and I'm not going to source this product for you. If I do source a crappy product for you, I'm going to make you sign an agreement that it wasn't from me because I warned you. He said, no, I just want the cheapest stuff. I said, okay, that supplier makes the cheapest stuff. Go to him and go get it. I'm not going to buy this stuff for you. Don't even mention my name that I got this product for you, because you got it for yourself. Because we already warned you that this is not a good quality product. And if you're going to put all your money into this just because you want to compete on price with other suppliers, why don't you go find another product to do? Or why can't you step up your game and say, if everybody's selling for $9.99, I'm going to make mine very, very well, and I'll sell it for $12.99 or $19.99 or $14.99. That extra details that you put into your product will really, really help make your business successful, and you have a very low return rate, very, very, very low defect rate, and you're going to have a great, great business. All right, let's take some questions.
All right, yeah, go ahead and type in your questions for Alpha Lobby. Anything about, sourcing, about anything that you've wondered, any examples also of any scenarios that you have had in the past that you didn't know how to handle, that also is good. let's see those questions. People seem to be quiet today, huh? Let's see, just give them a minute. We have one question here. Here we go. In the Q&A section. It says, is there anywhere other than Alibaba to look for good products?
Well, is it a drop shipping deal or to source products? Is it to source products?
Yeah.
Well, there is HK. There is HK TDC. I don't know if that's still their name. There's HK TDC. There is
HK. You said eight.
Hong Kong Trade Development Commission or something.
Hong Kong. So
HKTDC.
TDC, and that's something that you can like you can like is it dot com dot.
I think it's .com, but if you type in HKTDC, you should be able to see. And for Korea, you go to KITA, KITA.org. I think that is .org for Korea, if you want to. And then there's another one for Taiwan as well. I think it's Taiwan WDC or something. Yeah, that's it. Sourcing.hktdc. There is global. Of course, there is globalsourcing.com. Global sourcing.
Okay. And so
global sources, not sourcing, global sources.
Okay.
There is also, there's another one, made in China. I think made-in-China.
Yeah.
There's another one called Global Market. One is like Global Market or something, globalmarket.com or something, or global-market.com. But of course, if you want to just test the product real quick, you do AliExpress.
AliExpress for test.
Yeah, if you want to test product real quick.
Like test, like small batches.
Yes, yes.
Test the market. Okay, I didn't find the global market one. But so if you're, okay, for example, you're looking on, because we go to, I think that it was point number 1. If we're looking on these websites and we find a product that we like and find a supplier that we like, we still would not go through this platform and contact them, right?
Yeah, I personally just use it for research.
Research, yep.
Once I find the name, I find all the information, then I go through my China company, local company, to contact them through that so that I can negotiate for better pricing.
Yeah, because you're going to get the, we like to call this the stupid tax, or like.
Yeah, exactly. They, because you're foreign, they have a tendency of giving you a foreign price, foreigner price. So I just go, around the back to go speak to them directly to get a better price.
Right. Okay, and then what about, okay, here's another one. Do you have any suggestion for sources of acrylic products?
Yes. Is it acrylic photo product or acrylic display?
You said acrylic, she said bird feeder.
Bird feeder? So they're gonna build it from scratch then. So there are, when you're doing acrylic, you got to be very careful because there are different qualities of acrylic. There's different quality and there's different thickness of acrylic. Especially if you want to have your acrylic to be outdoor, it's got to be made in a different way. Because if you don't make it a different way, by the time the sun beats it and weather beats it, it's going to start cracking. So you have to use a very, very good quality acrylic.
And so what types of places, like, is there a certain region that would be best for that, or?
Acrylic people are spread all over. They can reach out to me. I can suggest some because I have a really, really good supplier in acrylic that can help them make their product. So reach out to me. I have a really good acrylic supplier that, that make like photo products and different panels, and they can build everything you want. And some of them are now building acrylic screen, for the banks. Now that you go to the bank, you have to put, there's an acrylic.
There's a lot happening with acrylic.
Yes,
right
yes.
Yeah, there's all the barber shops, I think, are having to add
yes,
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Cashiers,
Yes.
you go to, or the grocery stores, the cashiers, you go to do your groceries, and they all have them now.
Yes, yes. So let the person reach out to me. I have a really good acrylic supplier for you.
Okay, good. Yeah, and we will. I'll be sending out an email, and it will be able to help you get connected with Afolabi. But he does have a special offer for you guys at the end of this, just for being on this call. So definitely stay through to the end, and we'll let you know what that is. Okay, we do have a couple more. Yay, we've got more questions coming in. Okay, so this one says anonymous attendee. So I'm not sure who asked this, but it says, how many factories do you feel you need to get quotes from, and how many samples should you get?
5.
5. Okay.
3 to 5 is good. 3
Good.
to 5.
3 to 5. Okay. Good. And then, is shipping more expensive from certain countries? Meaning, it is important to know you need to take shipping cost into account, even if the price is less from certain places.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So it depends on traffic. So traffic drives the price of shipping. If the reason why shipping is cheaper from China is because there's a lot of traffic from China to the US. So if you're sourcing from Korea, it's likely that the shipping is a little higher because there's not as much as traffic of product moving from Korea, because Korean products are higher quality and they cost more. So people tend to naturally gravitate away from Korea because it's a sizable amount of price difference, maybe sometimes 20% more than what you would get out of China. But the quality is way better.
So the shipping could be lower, but the cost is higher. And the shipping was lower because that trade route is not as
exactly
travel. Okay. Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's in general, a general rule of thumb should be that you, before you completely press the go button with your supplier, you should get at least some sort of a shipping quote to see what your full landed cost is before you can really discern whether it's a viable option, especially when you've got the trade, the tariffs, and then of course talking to Afolabi, making sure you're picking the right tariff. That's something that we're redoing as well, because we had our tariff go from 0 to 25% on one of our top sellers. So all of that stuff needs to be, I think, factored in before you decide on a particular supplier. Otherwise you can think you have profit, and then it's all gobbled up because of the shipping costs.
Exactly.
Duties.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, good. What is the best way to determine best place to source certain products? Example, best place to source light bulbs versus best place to source a candle.
You mean best place around China?
Let's see. Yeah, around China, or are we talking about around the world?
Well, there's definitely some products. It just takes, if you're using a sourcing agent, they should be able to tell you. But rule of thumb is, from some of my experience, I can tell you that if you're buying cosmetics, Korea is your number one to buy cosmetics or something that is, that is edible. If you're buying something that is leather, you might have to go to Pakistan to get the best in terms of leather, or something that has to do with handmade, something that has to do with craftsmanship and handmade, or leather glove, like a really, really authentic leather stuff. You have to go to Pakistan to do that. If you're thinking about crafted wooden products, I would pick Vietnam to be number one. In doing like boats and crafted wooden products, crafted yards and stuff like that. And vase, those big vase, it's now in trend again. The big pots and vase, they call it
vases, like for flowers.
Yes, for flowers. Some people call it vase, some people call it vase. So that I'll go to Vietnam to get, because they have a better craftsmanship there in Vietnam. And for light bulbs, I think China is still better. Now, in China, let's talk about this a little bit interesting concept. So in China, there are different kinds of factories, but do you want to know something funny? The best factories are the factories owned by Taiwanese and factory owned by Americans and Canadians. So, sometimes Germans as well, because there are some factories that are owned by Germans in China. So, Taiwanese, German or Italian owned factories that are still based in China, or American owned factories that are still based in China, they kind of have a better quality than the Chinese owned factories.
Yeah.
So if you want to buy light bulb, you might see a light bulb by a Chinese owned factory, but it will be less quality than a Taiwanese owned factory light bulbs, because they just seem to put more effort, and they have very, very stringent quality standards. The Taiwanese people are just completely different in the way they do their things. They put some really, really good checks and standards to their product.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that it would be easier or more difficult to negotiate with an American or a Taiwanese-owned Chinese factory?
Oh, good question. It looks like dealing with this kind of factories that are owned by a foreign entity, I think it's based, I think it's volume negotiation would be the best way to go. It's a volume thing. You negotiate better with volume from those kind of factories, because those kind of factories are not so desperate to make a deal as much as a Chinese-owned factory.
Right. Now, what if you could in some way show them how, you could work a decent, partnership in terms of expansion? I mean, I guess the example we had a friend who did have an American owned Chinese factory, and we went to China together, and he went and met the factory owner, and ended up working out with them the payment terms of 0% down, 100% net 90, which is unbelievable.
Unbelievable, yep.
But it was because, this person had a particular brand that was doing really well on e-commerce, whereas the big box type brands were not even looking into doing much there. And he was wanting to show his big box brands that he, supplied, what could be done online to try to increase, to increase the business from that end. So he kind of saw it as a partnership and a proving ground. Have you ever heard of anything like that with some of these factories? Kind of a partnership type of a symbiotic relationship, I would say, not a partnership, but being able to negotiate symbiosis.
Yes. It works very well, especially because you're coming into the deal with a higher buying power, an established established brand behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier for you to cut a deal and just walk away with really, really good deal because everybody wants to do business with America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you come in there because you're already established, you already have something going on, you already have a nice popular brand that is going on. Yes, they'll cut you any deal because your Chinese factory is looking for a really good relationship as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you're giving them a better hope because they already have they already see what you've done before, or you have a track record, so they will be very willing to cut a deal with you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. So we answered this question. There were a couple of questions about specific countries and areas. We had another question. Do you have any suppliers you can recommend for t-shirts?
T-shirts, is it t-shirts is different. There are different kinds of t-shirts. Is it active sports t-shirt or like a cotton t-shirt and stuff?
Yeah, if you can, he says cotton.
Cotton, yeah, I do have.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it going to put anything on the t-shirt or it's just plain t-shirt?
Like a print on the t-shirt?
Mm-hmm. Is he going to print anything on it? Embellishment, decoration?
Rhinestones.
Yeah, I do have.
Cool. Yeah, yep. So we will. I'll be sending out an email, and it'll give information on how to contact Afolabi. In the off chance that you don't take him up on his offer, which I think is a very, very awesome and generous offer that we will get into as soon as we're done with our questions, of course. Yeah, and then what is the best way to learn about your sourcing services? Yes, so we'll send you information about how to reach out to Afolabi, and he can then fill you in on his services, what all the things that he offers, and all of that. I think we do have one last question. Thanks for your questions, guys. From Charlie, he says, with all that is happening with this crazy virus thing, is it still safe and good PR, public relations, to order from China? Any sourcing benefits that have occurred because of this with China? Ideal to source elsewhere as first option until the virus passes and China gets better PR, public relations. Buyers may be concerned about product sourced from there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Charlie. I still heard about another wave of virus in Wuhan, 2 days ago or whatever. Mm-hmm. That sends another shock down everybody's spine, unfortunately. Yeah, these are some of these unknown stuff. Mm-hmm. If we go to another country, Charlie, let's say we go to Korea to source for products, we don't even know if the same thing, is going to be there. Honestly, Canada and the US are almost emerging to be a good place to source now. It depends on your product, Charlie, in short. I think it depends on your product. If your product can be made elsewhere for not so much difference in price, I think you can treat that other place as a backup. And say, let's say we can find something in Korea, we just treat Korea as a backup and say, all right, let's find a supplier in Korea at the moment, or let's find a supplier in Taiwan at the moment. And should in case something happens with China, we can switch our production to Korea or Taiwan. But nobody knows. This is a good question. We don't know. We just have to order. We just have to be cautious as we're ordering things little by little. I wish I can answer it, but that's the best I can, Charlie. Honestly, that's the best I can.
Good. Yeah, he said good point. Now, one last question that I kind of had as a follow-up kind of to your point, and then we can go on. Is it advisable, or how important is it to find backup suppliers or to have backup suppliers?
Well, you might want to find backup suppliers for several reasons. The first reason is, what if you're selling so fast and your current supplier can't even keep up with you?
Yeah.
One. Number two, what if your supplier, what if your supplier holds you hostage on pricing just because you feel that you don't have anywhere else to go? It's better to have a backup supplier and split your order between the two so that they would know that you have options. It's a way of sending a message to your supplier that you have options so that they don't think they're the only ones making your product.
Yeah, I have actually interesting. Just thought of this. A friend of mine who has a Chinese supplier, but he also has a U.S. supplier. The U.S. supplier charges a lot more, but when he can't get product fast enough because he's had a huge spike or something like that, when he can't get product fast enough, he'll place an order with the U.S. supplier.
Yes.
He still makes money. He doesn't make nearly as much, but it is, that's a good idea too, is if you've got the ability to source something more locally with a shorter lead time, having that as another reason to have a backup supplier would be a good idea.
Yeah, especially for cash flow.
Yeah.
So if you pay, let's look at a path of our product manufacturing. So you put the 30% deposit for a supplier in China, takes him, 30 to 45 days to make your product. And then he asks you for a balance after the product is done. And then you have to wait 30 days to 35 days to ship the product to the US, and then you clear it, and then it goes to Amazon warehouse for another 2 weeks or whatever. Money is a product. Money is a commodity.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a US or Canadian supplier, maybe it takes them a week to finish your order. You would have recycled that money 2-3 times before your goods arrive from China.
Exactly. Yeah. The faster you move, that's one thing that people don't realize. It's not only about margins. If you can turn the same dollar over 3 times as opposed to 1, you're making a lot more money, even if your margins are slimmer, because you're doing more with the same dollars. So I actually had a friend of mine, is super numbers geek, and he did the math between a lower profit product and a faster turnaround, and the faster turnaround beat the lower profit hands down in just the amount of turnover that was able to occur.
Yes, especially people, if you're here and you're doing cosmetics or you're doing skincare or doing all those things that could be made in the US or Canada, you are going to, first, you're going to get a better term. Mm-hmm. Your supply is almost going to be funding your inventory, because let's say you sell 500 units a month, on Amazon, just order, $750 from your supplier, pay with a credit card, right? Because your supplier would take credit cards in the US and they might not take it in China, right? So you fund your business with a credit card. Before the credit card payment is due, you probably sold halfway your inventory. So that way you can grow faster, that is if you're disciplined enough to use credit to buy stuff. But I see it happen all the time.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Okay. Well, then I guess that kind of leads us to the end in terms of what you have to offer. If we have no more questions, last call for questions, guys, but I haven't seen any more come through. So if we wanted to talk a little bit about what it is that you do have to offer, this is something that Afolabi put together, and and then randomly texted us and said, hey, I think that, and let me go and share. He says, hey, I think that we should actually discount this product, and he decided that he wanted to actually offer like a very substantial discount to his services. I'm just looking for the slides for myself. Okay, so it's something called, let's do this. Oh, nope, wrong one. Sorry. Stop. We'll get there, guys. Okay. Can you guys, hopefully you guys can see that? Afolabi, you guys can see that?
Yep.
Okay, so it's something called the profit finder. So what Afolabi does is he's very good at kind of being a detective and going into your business and finding all of the places where you're losing money, right? So the profit finder is essentially you would send him all of your invoices and all of your freight forwarding invoices, your purchase orders and your freight forwarding invoices, and he can look at it and he can tell you where you're losing money. So he does a lot with shipping. He has his own logistics and knows how to, if you've seen our shipping presentations, knows how to save shipping, knows how to look at an invoice or an invoice from your freight forwarder and see what BS charges they've been, charging you. He had one guy who was being charged, I think he found like a random $1,100 fee that couldn't be explained on one shipment. So it's things like this where he can look and he can read all of those different, the language that you don't understand on these forms. He can look at them and he can find all the places where you're spending way too much money on shipping or you're spending way too much money on sourcing, and help to guide you in the direction of actually, whether it's resourcing your products, getting you into a better shipping situation. And then also on top of that, he's very good at, like he said, reworking your tariffs. So the profit finder includes the sourcing, the shipping. You can add tariff on top of that, but it's something that we definitely are having him take a look at for us. And then along with this, we are throwing in 3 months free of SoStocked. SoStocked.com, our inventory management software, because all of your money can be eaten up in expensive air shipments or stocking out. So we feel like that's a big part of how to improve your bottom line and find more profit in your business, is to actually have a really good system for staying in stock and not over ordering at the same time. And so, Afolabi, you said that your typical savings are about 10% in most of the businesses that you have helped, right?
Way more.
This is what you're modestly able to, able to claim. Yeah. So, and kind of working with Afolabi for a while, we've learned things like, what we learned today, if you're overpaying your suppliers, if you found your supplier on Alibaba or some other sourcing website. Also, if you speak to your supplier in a language other than Chinese, I know that we do, that's one of the ways you can be overcharged, is, that you're not dealing with a factory, like we said that is, the actual factory. You're dealing with trading companies. Also, if you pay your supplier using anything but Chinese currency, they could be overcharging you as well. So those are some of the ways that if you could answer yes to any one of those questions, you're probably overpaying. And this is why Afolabi is extremely confident that he can actually get you, better savings, because pretty much everyone that he looks at, he can. So also your freight forwarder may be overcharging you if you got your quote from an online shipping platform, so like Freightos or Flexport. If you didn't get multiple quotes, right, or if you didn't negotiate your shipping rates. And so what this is you would send in all of your how would it go? Would you meet with him first, Afolabi? How would that whole program go?
Yeah, we'll do a Zoom call first, and then you're going to send me all your invoices for shipping and for invoices, for products.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take a look at them. And some people just, sometimes you're sending, you probably don't know how to create shipment in Seller Central to force Amazon to let you ship to, lesser number of places.
Mm-hmm.
Some people is, maybe how you're shipping your product is just the problem. Maybe you're not shipping it the right way. That's why you're paying too much. And then maybe your products, you're sourcing it from a middleman or somewhere that, that you're just overpaying. If I look at it, I would tell, because myself and my team will study it and look at all your invoices. Just send me 3 to 4 past invoices. We'll look at it and we'll design a whole plan for you and say, okay, Why don't we ship it like this? Why don't we use high-speed shipping to do this? Why are you shipping by air? Because we could have put you in a 12-day, 14-day ship to take you to the thing. Why don't you use China warehouse? Why are you spending $3,000 a month on, on an inventory that you're not selling now? Why don't you just put it in one of our China warehouses for $10 a pallet, as opposed to leaving it in Amazon for $40 or $45 a pallet? So these are all the things we'll look at and to find you all the monies that you're pouring away.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the way that I look at it, it's like, like the difference between filing your taxes with TurboTax and getting a really good tax accountant who can show you how to legally find ways to save the most money on your taxes. It's kind of like that. So you got a pro that's looking at your stuff, and I know for us, for example, in sourcing, we've had, the TurboTax version of sourcing and shipping in the past. So, I mean, we've had it a little bit better because we did have a supply chain manager who did negotiate some stuff for us, but we are still using the trading company that we've been using. So that's why Afolabi is redoing all of our stuff. But if you even saved 10%, it's like you could make up, what you pay to Afolabi in your next order. And then that compounded over the years of your business. It's just, it's really pretty sweet. So yeah, we can't wait to come back and share our success story. All right. So this is called the Profit Finder, and it's normally $9.95, right? So I said we, talked to Afolabi, texted me, and, one day, and he was like, hey, I think we should give them a discount. So it's 48 hours only. So this will disappear off of our website, and it's sostock.com/savings-finder. But we're going to do it for only $6.95. So that's for the next 48 hours. So if you're really looking at taking this time to, maybe you lost some profit from the coronavirus, this could be something that could help you to make up the profit if you did lose some sales over the last couple of months. This is something that we're definitely advising people to take a look at. And even if you didn't, putting an extra, 10% of profit back in your pocket, 10% plus, that's huge. So, so I thought that was really awesome that he, wanted to offer a discount to you guys. And then, the other thing that I thought blew me away was that he says it's a guarantee. So if he doesn't find, so if he looks at your stuff and they do the time and they look through all your stuff and they don't find, savings for you, then he's not going to charge you. He's going to give you your money back, right? And you can keep the free access to stock for 3 months on top of that. So it's really like a no risk kind of arrangement. And again, that's 48 hours only, and then the price would go back up to $9.95. So highly, highly recommend taking him up on this offer. He's a really good person to have in your back pocket for anything having to do with saving money on the front end of your business, not just, making money on the back end of your business, is kind of how I look at it. Is there anything else? Did I miss anything on that?
No, we're good.
Okay, good. Yeah. So go ahead. So you go to sostock.com/savings-finder, right? And also, if you're interested in his tariff buddy, finding out if you can save if you've been just being killed on your tariffs, you can add to that and get one of your products reassessed. I think we have you can actually elect to add a tariff buddy to your order there. So other than that, we've got, so this is we've been doing these recurring webinar series with Afolabi. We have 2 more on the books. We'll have to kind of revisit, but it seems like you guys have liked these and they've been doing well. But we've got how to decrease your fees across your entire supply chain, right? And so that's 2 weeks from now. And then another 2 weeks from that, there's going to be a Chinese trademarks webinar talking about why it's important, why it could be vital to protect your business with a Chinese trademark. So even if you have a US trademark, Chinese trademark might be pretty vital. And then next week, I'm doing a talk on inventory secrets to increase your bottom line, right? That's next Thursday, and that's at sostock.com/inventory secrets. And so the and I'm gonna put those links here in the chat. Yeah, so what we're gonna be talking about for that particular webinar is some tips and techniques that you should be applying to your inventory management that some people don't have in their systems right now. And so if you're finding you're continually stocking out, that could be the reason why, is that you don't have these kind of safety nets or safeguards in place. And so I kind of walk through what the cost is of not putting those in place, how you could be causing yourself to overorder, how you could be causing yourself to stock out, and what are those things to do to avoid those things. So that's next week, and you can sign up for both of those. The ones with Afulabi are the sostock.com/seller-secrets, and then the other one is /inventory-secrets. Let me see if I have any more questions just to wrap this up before we go. We got, no, looks like that's it. Thanks so much, you guys. Anything to add to end off, Afulabi?
No, that's good. I'm excited. You know,
great. Okay, so I will be sending you guys an email, and it will also include how to connect up with Afulabi. So what's the replay, it'll be, I have to get it uploaded, but once the replay is uploaded, it'll be the replay, you'll get access to these slides, and then you will also get a link to connect up with Afulabi. Let's see, we got some thank yous, got some thumbs up. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you. And we will talk to you later. See you on the next one.
All right, thank you, Chelsea. Thanks for the good one. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.